up as well.
Can you bring it up?
Yeah,
Because
just
I'm having some problems here.
not a problem. She should have it up in just a second. Thank you all for bearing with us. Gotta love
Appreciate that. Sorry about
technology.
that. Everything was
No,
set
not a
to
problem.
go. I was
Perfect.
like, we are set to go, but for some reason,
There we are. All right, Jackie, I will hand it over to you.
okay. So I just want to talk about is certification for me. And tell you a little bit about what the Michigan Minority Supplier Development Council is all about, and what we do, and how we do it. I'm excited about it, and I do hope you are. I just want to say that the Michigan Minority Supplier Development Council, and you can move the slide to the next slide. The Michigan Minority Supplier Development Council. It is we are one of the large we are the largest of the National Minority Supplier Development Council, whose mission statement is the goal of the NMSDC is to assist bona fide minority businesses and becoming long-term qualified entities capable of competing in the national and international economic mainstream. And so the next slide. So what is MMSDC? MMSDC, it is a nonprofit service organization. We are the largest of 23 councils in the National Minority Supplier Development Council. In over 40 years, we have connected some of Michigan's largest corporations with certified minority-owned businesses, a catalyst for mutual business success. We are committed to driving economic growth within minority communities. And we are raising the bar in supplier diversity. That's some of the things that we're always looking to do. And through certification, we assure the corporate buyer that a business is truly minority owned, operated, and controlled. Next slide. Our four pillars of service. Our four pillars of service includes our comprehensive certification process, gives us our corporate members the confidence to do business with minority-owned firms. We certify, we develop, we connect, and we advocate. So in certifying, that is our primary responsibility is to certify. We offer many training programs, workshops, and events to help MBEs develop their capacity and grow their businesses. We connect. We're joining the MMSDC grants you access to a vast network of buyers, executives, and fellow business owners. We meet them at any, and you can meet them at any of our upcoming events. We know that during this time of the pandemic, it's a little challenging because we're trying to get to know people, and in the process of us trying to get to know people, we're trying to get to know them in a virtual environment. And one thing about being in a virtual environment that I always look at is that oftentimes what happens is that people tend to not expose who they are. So they tend to say, okay, well, I may not be looking my best, but you have to keep in mind that all of these are networking opportunities, and that's what we give. And one of the things that I always share with our NBEs or prospective NBEs is that you should open your camera up, because this is a networking event. If we were in person, people would be able to see you. So you want to be able to know that this is a networking event for you not to only connect with us from the certification organizations, but also for you to connect with each other. We advocate an outspoken voice in local and national circles. The MMSDC works with government and industry in the economic progress of minority firms. So we certify, we develop, we connect, and we advocate. And everything that we do, it has to be centered on these four pillars. Next slide, please. The MBE economic impact. We purchase from MBEs Purchases from MBEs create economic opportunities in minority communities and contribute to economic development. And so when you begin to think about just the impact that our minorities have and that they have in making a difference. Why? Because our dollars, we create jobs, we create taxes, we create, we build up our communities. So purchases from MBEs help foster jobs and economic activity in underrepresented segments of the business and customer community. Inclusive procurement practices provide opportunities to diverse businesses that in turn provide greater representation, employment, and economic advancement for minority communities. And we are behind this 100%. We're pushing it, and we're always looking at ways in order to help our MBEs even more. Can we go to the next slide, please? What is economic impact? Making an economic impact through MBEs. Purchases from MBEs help foster jobs and communities, as I said before. So when you begin to look at what is this economic impact is, the economic impact, it moves from a production, it goes into jobs, it goes into incomes, and then it goes into taxes. So our MBEs, we help in order for us to create a sustaining community. That's what our MBEs are doing. When they become certified, we understand that, and we want them to understand that as well. We want them to know about the economic impact that their dollars make. Can we go to the next slide? The economic impact channels. So when you begin to look at the economic impact channels, you purchase from a certified MBE. So when they purchase from a certified MBE, the way the funnels works is, and then you go and you have a direct impact. Your direct impact, these purchases create a direct impact at these MBEs who employ people and others. So then we make a direct impact. And then it keeps going out to the supplier chain impact. Our MBEs also purchase goods and services from other suppliers. And one of the things that we often tell our MBEs is, when you become certified, don't just always look and say, I got to go to one of the big companies. I want to go to a Ford. I want to go to a General Motors. I want to go to a Quicken. MBEs, some of our MBEs, they are just as large or larger than some of our corporate members. So when you begin to think about that, you begin to think that you really have two channels in which you can go and which you can utilize. You have our corporate members, but you also have MBE to MBE spend. And so we really also promote MBE to MBE spend, just as we're promoting our certified MBEs to also take advantage of the corporate members, because those are two channels of opportunities. And then they're able to make a community impact. They're able to know that they are making a community impact, and they're affecting someone's life. They're helping someone because they begin to employ people, and they're helping someone to be able to take care of their household. So we want them to understand that there is the profitability of being certified, but there is the altruistic of being certified as well. Can we have the next slide? And this is $21 billion of total revenues of MMSDC certified MBEs. This is what they have. This is the power of our MBEs, the economic impact of our MMSDC MBEs. $36 billion total economic output, 209.5 thousand total jobs supported, $11 billion total wages supported, 1.25 billion state and local taxes. This is the impact as a minority business enterprise. This is the impact that you have on our economy. So a lot of times people think they're not making an impact. You're making an impact, and collectively that impact become very forceful. Our next slide. What we do is, this is our MBEs by industry. So when you begin to look at all the industries that we are impacting, we're making a major impact on every industry when it comes to the minority business enterprise, and how, in the process of us certifying them in all of these various industries. And the thing is that they are growing. And as we are changing, we know that the pandemic has caused a lot of people to shift and to pivot. And so these industries, they are expanding, and these industries are growing. And so what we do, our collective NBEs revenues, we look at them and we say, this is the impact that you're having. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing for you. Can we have the next slide? To certify. So when you go through the certification process, our companies, what we do, our companies are recommended for MBE certification. Sometimes they're recommended by our corporate members. Sometimes they're recommended by other MBEs. Sometimes they're recommended because they hear about us and somebody may tell them, you really need to get certified. So when they get certified, we also have other resources that we provide to them. Because we're connected with other organizations and we're connected with other agencies. The certification process, when you initially contact us, the first thing that an applicant must attend is what we call our pre-certification briefing. And we hold these the first Monday of every month. They're usually about 2 hours long. There is a $25 non-refundable fee. Our next one is going to be February 4th. They fill up pretty fast. So we really encourage people to go and to get registered. With the applicant, once they attend that, and then the applicant is given the what we call the password in order for them to begin their application. The application, they complete the application online, and then they'll submit their processing fee once the application is completed and is ready to be submitted. The application processing fee is a $350 non-refundable fee. The online application is then assigned and reviewed by one of the certification team. It's myself, and it's also Irma Salinas, and it's assigned to one of us. The site visit appointment is scheduled after we review your file and after the file is totally completed. So it's not so much that you submitted your file, but then we have to go through and we're working with you back and forth. Hopefully we don't have to work that much back and forth with you. But in order to get a completed file, once the file is completed, we establish your site visit. Once the site visit is done, then the certification committee, we present your file to the certification committee. The certification committee, they're going to make the recommendation. They review the application, they make the recommendation, and then the file is sent to our executive committee for final ratification. If the applicant is approved, we will notify them, and then they pay the annual fee. And on the next page, I'll show you the annual fee. They pay the annual fee, and then we send them a certificate and a welcome letter. Our annual fee structure is $0 to $200,000. Your annual fee would be $200. From 200,001 to 1 million, it's $500. From 1,000,001 to 2 million is $750. Anything over $2 million, $2,000,001, it is $1,200. So this is our structure, our certification fee structure. Next slide. Our certification review. We validate the rule of 3. Our validation of the rule of 3 is that the entity must be controlled, owned, and managed by a minority. And so we're going to look for whether or not you have control, ownership, and management. We verify and confirm all supporting documentation. So all of the supporting documentation that you submit to us, we're going to verify it and we're going to confirm it. Financial viability, business viability, business sustainability, and the capability to scale. We also look at all of those parameters, and that's why we work very diligently with NBEs as they prospective NBEs, because our whole goal is that we want you to succeed. That's our whole goal. We want you to succeed. We want to make sure that you get certified. And so that's our goal. So some of the times it seems as though we may be asking for a lot, and we are, because we're the ones who sit in and we're your advocates, and we sit in with our certification committee every month. We know exactly what they're looking for, and in the process of knowing exactly what they're looking for, we want to make sure that that's what you present to them in order in order for you to become certified, in order for you to gain access and opportunities. Next slide. The MBE certification, it's a validation from an applicant's business. They must be at least 51% owned, controlled, and managed by a racial or ethnic minority who is a U.S. citizen. I want to really explain. We certify according to your ethnicity. According to your ethnicity, it's bloodline. We don't certify according to gender. We don't certify according to disability. We certify according to your bloodline. And so the ethnicity component becomes very critical. And that's why we have to ask people to give us their birth certificate. And believe me, it becomes challenging because after 1965, the US government stopped putting your ethnicity on your birth certificate. But there are other ways that we ask in order for us to be able to ascertain your ethnicity. We certify the criteria for ethnicity. You must be African American, Asian Indian American, Asian Pacific Islander American, or Hispanic Latino American, Native American, or Alaska Native. These are the 5 groups that we certify. Next slide, please. Certification criteria, ethnicity. Green card holders, resident aliens are not eligible for certification. So if you are a green card holder or a resident alien, we do not certify you. The groups not eligible for certification by NMSDC, they are groups from Iberian Peninsula, Spain, Portugal, Asia Minor region, the peninsula between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean Sea, Persian Gulf, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Europe, North Africa, Egypt, Libya, Morocco, or Algeria. So these are those ethnicities that come from these regions. We do not certify them. And again, it's according to bloodline, not geographic area as well. Next slide, please. You can contact our certification team. Clarence Oliver, he is the Vice President of Corporate and MBE Services. And then there's myself, Jackie Showers, and then there's also Irma Salinas. Either Irma Salinas or myself, we will be the ones who will walk you through the entire certification process from start to finish. We will be the ones, if there are any type of underlying situations, then that's when we bring Clarence involved. But the 2 of us are the ones who's going to walk you through. And once your application is submitted, you will be assigned to either Irma or myself. I also want to share with you that we have what we call our MBDA Center, the Detroit MBDA Business Center, that's also that's operated by MMSDC. And they offer quite a few different services as well, because what they offer is business development and marketing, access to capital contracts and new markets, strategic consulting services, MBE, WBE, DBE, and 8A certification assistance, research services of various databases such as Hoover's and Dodge's. So these are some of the services that they offer. Now, there is a nominal fee, and you get all of these services, and the fee is $100. You can always contact us and find out. I am going to put their contact information up here as well. Sharon Crockett is Senior Business Consultant, Dorothy Huddleston, Bill Grice, Javier Smith, and Sakia Wilkinson. Sharon Crockett, she was my predecessor. So when it comes to certification, if you're looking to get certified with any of the certification organization, Sharon is there to help walk you through that. And again, all of these services are $100 annually. So are there any questions? I hope I wasn't going too fast. Are there any questions?
No, that's perfect. We have quite a few questions in the chat box. I had a couple for you first. They should be quick. So how long does an application to fill it out, to go through the whole process typically take in terms of timeline?
To fill out an application, we don't look at an application as when you submit it, that it is completed. We look at a complete application once we have all the documentation. So we also tell people that if we get a completed application within 30 to 40 days, it depends on where that completed application is, when we get it, and when we're going to go to the committee, usually within 30 to 40 days or less. you will get certified. However, if you give us an incomplete application and we have to keep going back and forth and asking you for this information, then what happens is it prolongs the time.
Okay. Can a business be headquartered in another state, say Indiana, but get certified in Michigan?
You will need to be headquartered here in Michigan. However, we have reciprocity with the other 22 councils. So say, for instance, you get certified in Indiana. Well, if you get certified in Indiana, then what you would become is a subscriber out of state with us. And you would not have to go through the entire process, the daunting task of collecting all of that documentation. All you would have to do is go up on our site. You do have to pay an extra fee. However, if you're headquartered here in Michigan, you can register in Michigan. But if you're headquartered in Indiana, you would get certified in that region, and then you would become a subscriber out of state.
Great. So how does a site visit work if someone has a home office?
If someone has a home office right now, they're all working the same because we're only doing all virtual site visits.
Okay.
If we were not, if it was not during a pandemic, we go to people's houses just the same way that we go to a business.
Perfect. Someone asked, I went through the pre-certification meeting a few months back. Does the certificate to apply ever expire?
You went through this, they went through the pre-certification briefing.
Correct. Yes, I think that's what they're saying. Yep.
We usually allow that briefing for a whole year, and then we ask you to come back. Because it is a lot of information that we provide. It's a 2-hour session, and we go over all the documentation and we go all of the entire application. So if it's been over a year, then we ask you to come back. If it's been within a year, then you can go ahead and file your application.
Perfect. How much business can an MBE subcontract out to other firms?
How much business, that depends on you. We don't regulate the operations of your business except to make sure that you're controlled, owned, and managed by 51% by a minority. But the way your day-to-day operations, that's going to be up to you.
Perfect. Okay. And I'm going to throw in one more question. And then for the questions that weren't answered, I'll send them to Jackie to see if she can give us answered. I want to make sure that we have time for our other panelists. What if you are multiracial and your birth certificate denotes you as white?
That's when I was saying we escalate up to Clarence. That's where Clarence, we escalate up to him. We do have a lot of extenuating circumstances when it comes to ethnicity. That is probably one of the biggest issues that we face during this whole application process. And so we have to work one-on-one with those types of situations. And then you would work one-on-one with us.
Perfect. Thank you, Jackie, so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
As I mentioned before, I will be sure to share all this information out in a follow-up email. I will pass questions on to Jackie to see if we can get answers for you. But we are going to shift gears to now look at the process of how to become a certified women-owned business. So joining us this morning are Veronica Johnson and Cherise Gary of the Great Lakes Women's Business Council. Thank you both so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So I will let you two take it from here.
Okay. Let me share. Can you see the screen?
I can.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. We want to thank you all for joining us on the call today. How it's going to go is I'm going to do the first half of the presentation, and then Cherise will chime in and finish the rest of the presentation. We have our sweet spots, so we like to weigh in on what we know, right? So welcome again. Thanks for joining. Cherise, you can go to the next slide. I always like to start our presentation off by giving you a little bit of background of who the Great Lakes Women's Business Council is. We are a nonprofit organization housed out of Livonia, Michigan, and we have major elements that make up our organization. So some of our incentives would be the certification process, which, as everyone on the call knows, we certify based on gender. We certify women-owned businesses that are managed, operated, and controlled by a female. We also have our seed lending program, which we offer loans from $5,000 to $50,000. We are in the works of becoming a CDFI, which will allow us to grant loans up to $500,000. So that's in the works. So keep that in mind. We have our membership program, which if you may feel that certification may not be for you, but you still want to be amongst women-owned businesses, you still want to be invited to all of our events and stuff like that, you are able to join as an individual for our council through our membership program. Or if you are a corporation who would like to support and use and have access to our certified WBEs, you then would become a member through our organization as well. And then on the largest end too, we have our Women's Business Center. So through that center, we have a Michigan Women's Marketplace, which is a free online business directory for all women-owned businesses. So each and every woman-owned business on this call, I would suggest that you just sign up for that free directory. It gives you great networking opportunities to be amongst, again, other women-owned businesses. It's gonna allow you to join webinars and things like that. All of our educational pieces that we do through the council comes out of the Women's Business Center. We were founded in 1984 by our current and founding executive director, Michelle Richards. Again, we are a nonprofit. We currently have 1,400 certified WBEs in the states of Michigan and Indiana. They, collectively have about $8 billion in annual revenue, employing almost 50,000 people. And then we've provided 5.5 million in loans, which I'm almost positive that has went up drastically during the pandemic. We've given out a lot of loans, so we need to get some new numbers on here, but we've created over 1,800 jobs, which the loans have helped keep secure during this pandemic. Here, oh, my voice, excuse me. Here we have a little brief video that kind of just goes into a little more depth of what Great Lakes does and the impact that we have on the community.
Here in Michigan, boosting women in business and shattering glass ceilings. We are talking about the work of the Great Lakes Women's Business Council, which has been meeting for 2 days in Novi. Paula Tutman was in the middle of it all with a story on the groundbreaking, game-changing organization.
I think what's so incredible is there was a time not so very long ago, just the idea of being a woman-owned business owner or your own boss was considered foreign, so foreign that some people even laughed at that idea.
It's beyond my expectations. It's beyond my dreams, frankly.
Michelle Richards, the founder and CEO of the Great Lakes Women's Business Council, remembers those early days well.
In 1984, no one believed in the idea of women starting businesses. The concept seemed like, oh, you're talking about women doing catering or babysitting. And I said, no.
But that was then, and this is now. Through Great Lakes Women's Business Council, we've met glass blowers, construction workers, candy makers, concerned about the level of women living in poverty and the barriers to even think about being a boss instead of a worker. Michelle Richards had an idea: start an organization that promotes and trains women to be business owners. 35 years later, this is what her vision looks like.
Central View Technologies delivers this and so much more.
At the two-day conference, women pitched their companies,
where we provide pre-charged cell phone chargers that are stored in vending machines in public places.
We've grown from being a small loan program and business training program to being an organization with very sophisticated programs on how to leverage opportunities and accelerate business growth.
The newest initiative, B2We, provides procurement opportunities for women to do business with other women-owned companies. During We Match sessions, small women-owned companies can actually talk face-to-face to 60 big corporations, the business titans looking to do business with women business owners, because being a certified women business enterprise is a game changer.
The federal government is the major customer for almost all major companies. Their requirement is to set up programs to do business with women and minorities, and to do 5% spend with women and 5% spend with minorities. And so women's business certification is a way to do that.
Ann Teschendorf of Covalent Resource Group has only been in business for 18 months.
We're loving it. Like, just being embraced in a community is really cool.
I'm proud to MC this luncheon for the conference every year. 1,200 certified women business enterprises generating $11.6 billion into the U.S. economy with 41.5 thousand workers. And that is not bad for a 35-year-old with a staff of only 17. In the room, more than 800 ladies who are lunching from across Michigan and as far away as California and Texas. And they are not talking laundry detergent, but line items. All of this from a gender that just 35 years ago didn't have a clear agenda. My, how times have changed. Paula Tutman, Local 4.
Oh, they sure have. Thank you, Paula.
So we use that video. It is about 2 years old, but the impact of it is so great that we don't want to take it out of our presentation because it really captures Great Lakes and all the essence of, the impact again of what we do for our community and what the impact of our WBEs have. So what is supplier diversity? Supplier diversity is a program normally that is within a corporation or organization that really supports the use of diverse suppliers. And these are the diverse suppliers that are out there. You have your women-owned businesses, your veteran-owned businesses, your minority-owned, anyone that fits within the LGBTQ community, and then your disabled-owned. There are organizations that certify each and every one of these different balls here. So Jackie would be covering the minority, we cover the women. Our guys at the Veterans Association covers the veteran-owned. So there is a certification, and we always, this is part of our presentation all the time, is if you fit more than one of these criteria, you definitely want to try to obtain as many of the certifications as you can, right? You don't have to pick one. One's not better than the other. They all do the exact same thing. They all are going to lead to opportunities, door openers. They're all great marketing tools to have on your belt. So don't think that you just have to get one or the other if you fit more than one of the criteria. You are able to get and obtain as many as you are able to. Go ahead. So these certifications can come at a city level. So if you're looking to do business within the city of Detroit or the city of whatever city you stay in, most of the cities have a city level certification. Then you have your state level certification, which you're able to get your state level certification to do business within your state. You have your federal government certification, which is the WOSB. Currently, right now, we do provide that certification as well at no additional cost to your WBE certification. And then you have your corporation certifications, which will cover you within the Fortune 500 companies, and that would be your WeBank and your minority. Next slide, please. Here, we just break down. So WeBank is a nonprofit organization as well. They selected 14 regional partner organizations to cover their certification. It is a national certification, although you may obtain your certification through Great Lakes Women's Business Council. It is national, so you can do business in Texas, you can do business in California, as long as you are certified within one of our RPOs. Now, just similar to Jackie, you may have to reach out to that RPO that covers that territory and sign up for their membership fee, which is normally minimal. And so that you're able to be on their mailing list to be invited to their events and things like that, but the certification is national. Why get certified? I always kind of do this out of order based on what I feel is most important. And I've been here for 13, 14 years now, so I've kind of see, and the connection piece for me, I believe, is the most important reason why you want to get certified. There's lots of opportunities to meet so many people, develop so many relationships. Then you also have your credentials. You'll be able to use our logo on all of your marketing tools, on your products. Business growth, of course, comes from a lot of the webinars and seminars that we host, really teaching you how to grow the business inside out. And then doing all of that, of course, will then lead you on to contract opportunities, federal and corporate. And here we have a list of our corporate members. So these people pay us a membership fee to be able to have access to our certified WBEs. They contact me and Sharice constantly in order to find out if a WBE fits the criteria of whatever services they're looking for. So we work for them as well as WeBank, as well as Great Lakes. You can kind of say that, because constantly we're getting emails on, if there's a certified WBE that fits the needs of what they're looking for. And on this list, you may see that there are some certified WBEs on this list that are so large that they have become corporate members, because they have put a supplier diversity program or business inclusion program within themselves, and they want to give back and be supportive of the other certified business owners. Therese?
Hi. I'm sorry, I got to clear my throat. Sorry about that. Okay, let me move some things around. All right, so the qualification of being certified, the credentials. You have to be 51% owned or ownership, have ownership, or 51% owners of the company. We do over manage and control. You have to have some type of contribute to the company. You must be a woman owned that holds the highest defined title. And also you have to be a US citizen or have a green card. The entities that we certify, Sole P, Partnership, Corporation, LLC, and we do not certify nonprofit. And this is where all the magic happens. So you're going to log into webanklink.org, and down at the bottom where you see seeking certification, you're going to scroll all the way down to apply for renewal certification. This right here will be everything that you need when it's coming to accessing corporate members or other WBEs, as well as renewing your certification or retrieving the WeBank logo, or we communicate through that system as well. So how we go is you're going to log on to webanklink.org. You're going to upload all your documentations. Once you upload that, you're going to sign, submit, pay, submit. Then it will go to the certification department, which we will take a broad look. One of our certification assistant will take a broad look. She will make sure that certain documents is there and certain documents is not. Then it will go to one of the certification ladies. So it will be myself, Veronica, or Katrina Johnson, who I will show later on in the presentation. We will take a detailed look, make sure all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, and in a perfect world, it will go with our certification review committee. They usually in face will review your application through technology that we provide and passwords, but due to COVID, we're going to have to do it virtually. So we come together as one big goofy family, review your files, your information, and then they will give a recommendation. It will go to a site visit rep. In a perfect world, we will come to your home if you're a startup company or any place that is your headquarters that you put on the application. But due to COVID-19, we do virtual. So yes, we will have you turn your camera on, turn your laptop or computer on, walk around the building or bedroom or office, wherever your headquarters is located. Then it will go back to another committee where they will take the documentation from the certification rep that reviewed your file, the first committee review, and the site visit rep, and then they will determine if you're certified or not. Then you will get an email stating your status. Please note that once you hit that submit button and pay, it takes 90 days for the application review. That's what WeBank states, but it all depends on the documentation and everything if the file is clean. Document require. Yes, we ask a lot of information, all basically about the business. It could be from the history all the way down to the resume of every owner or management owner. We ask for financial structure. So it'd be a profit and loss balance sheet, taxes, 3 years of taxes. If you're a new company, then we ask for 3 years of your 1040s. The first 2 pages, you can black out all of the kids' social security numbers if you're a startup company. Other than that, we will ask for 3 years of the company taxes. We ask for payrolls. We ask for operating agreements, also your government information. And when it comes to the fee, we go by your annual sales. So to start, you're going to take 3 years of your company gross sales. You're going to divide it by 3, and then it comes up with your average sale. So from 1 million, anything under 1,350,000, 1 to 5, 500, 5 to 10, 750, 10 to 50, 1,000. Anything over 50 mil is 1250. And once again, we would love for you guys to reach over 50 mil. So that's why we did it twice. But when it comes to the certification team, you have my director who's on this call, who's on this webinar, Veronica Johnson. You have Katrina Johnson, who's also the manager over the Indiana side. Then you have myself, who is the certification specialist, and then you have Darnetta Anderson, who is the certification assistant. All 4 of us will there to help. You can email us. Please give us 24 hours to respond back. Michigan Women Marketplace is an online business tool. I like to say it's Facebook for business. So if you do not fit the qualification of being certified, but you still have a woman owner, you can log on, sign up. It's absolutely free. A lot of webinars, also corporate members do webinars there as well. And then you can reach us at our social media pages. We have great personality. So any questions that you guys have to ask?
So I think you answered all the questions I had, covered certification fees, annual renewal, what you do about site visits. We do have so far 1 question in the chat. If there are any more, please post them in the chat box. So this person, I currently own 50% of my company and I'm working to gain majority ownership. Do you have any recommendations for who I should talk to for this? Is it an attorney? Is it somebody else? Have you had to deal with this before? What does that process look like if somebody's not 51% owner? How do they transition that to become that 51% to get certified?
2 things. I would suggest you reach out to either myself or Michelle Richards, which is the executive director. It's probably a lot easier to contact me. And then I can give you some suggestions. Or we do have an attorney that we use for, she doesn't necessarily handle, the paperwork of processing your paperwork, but she would definitely steer you in the right direction on who you need to contact, or another attorney that she's able to suggest if you need to do an attorney. So a lot of people don't necessarily need an attorney to do the switch.
Perfect. Thank you. I know you may have mentioned this a little earlier in your presentation about some of the loan dollars that you offer. Can you talk a little bit more about any grants or loans that you offer in your organization?
Currently, we do not offer any grants. We do offer loans. They are at a 5% interest rate fixed. I personally do not work in the loan department, so I do not want to give anyone any wrong information. I can put a contact information to Todd Van Apeldoorn in the chat box so that you're able to actually reach out to the person that's responsible for giving the loans, and he's able to answer all of those questions directly.
Perfect. Thank you so much for doing that. And then someone asked, I heard there's salary requirements as well in addition to holding the highest office. Is that correct?
No.
No.
A woman can hold the highest office and still receive a low salary. All you have to do is just explain why when we ask the question. It could be that you're paying an employee that been dedicated to the business, that been there for many, many years. It can be that a woman owner is collecting Social Security, so she don't want to mess that up. It could be a lot of factors of why you don't have a high salary in the business.
Perfect. We need to transition on to our last speaker. So any other questions that have been posted in the chat box, I will be sure to share. So thank you, Sharice. Thank you, Veronica, so much for joining us today and sharing all that information. And again, I will be giving their information in the follow-up email with any other information they've shared. So you all will have that after the call. So thank you both again. And last but certainly not least, we have Jazz Kaur. Jazz is the owner and CFO of Singh Automation, which is both a certified women and minority-owned business. Jazz, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you for having me.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I would love to ask you a few questions about your personal experience of becoming a certified women and minority owned company.
Yeah. So
So-
first of all, I want to say both minority certification and woman minority, these ladies are fabulous. Anytime I had any question, I email them, they'll call me back, they'll email me back. Initially, this process was a bit difficult just because you need lots and lots of information, as they already mentioned. But once you get hold of them, they'll walk you through to every single thing. So amazing ladies, thank you so much for what you do.
That is great to hear. I know everybody on the call, I feel like there's a lot of information. There might be some nerves, so that's wonderful to hear. So you said the process of getting certified was a little difficult at the beginning. Can you speak more about kind of how it worked for you, how long it took, and just a little bit more about the process?
Yep. So we started with our Michigan minority certification. As Jackie mentioned, we had to go there in Detroit's office, attend the 2 hours conference, and a lot of information. Came back, went through my P&L, all the taxes and all the business papers, my getting my passport, my business partner's passport. So it was lots of information. Once I submitted everything within, I believe, 30 days, we were certified. Through the certification, we were able to bid for federal contract. From federal contract, I found out that federal agencies have funds aside. I believe it's 23% that they give to Michigan minority businesses. I was bidding for that. From that, I found out that federal agencies also give funds to women minority businesses, which is 5%. Through that, I got in touch with Veronica Cherise, and I was able to get my women minority certification. Again, it was a long process, but thanks to Michigan minority certification, I already had all my paperwork. I went ahead and submitted everything. Within 90 days, we were certified as a women minority business. From that, we were able to win one of the federal contracts. Thank you so much. After that, the best thing is that once you are a member of both the certifications, there is a list of suppliers. You can call them, you can email them. They'll get in touch with you. If there is a business that they have for you, they're very easy to work with. Sometimes there are federal contracts that you only can do half of the job, but the other half of the job somebody else can do. So you can come together, be a subcontract with that other company, and then you can submit your bids. The very important thing I would say is when you attend these webinars at Michigan Minority and Women Minority, make sure you have your company's flyers, make sure you have your business cards, make sure you are there in every single webinar, because you won't believe how many people you meet with, you won't believe how many friends you make during all this transition. So far the journey has been great.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
So as a woman and minority owned company, what are some of the benefits you've seen? I know you talked about getting some contracts, making connections. What other benefits have you seen?
The biggest benefit right now, as we are in pandemic, sometimes there are so many loans and grants out there that we don't get the information if we are not in the certification members list. But just because I am in that list, I'm constantly receiving those emails. So I'm always on top of it. I know which loan is coming. I know which grant is coming. So that, so far has helped us a lot.
That's awesome. And I know that with all the information coming, it's good to stay on top of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know you work in the manufacturing world, but for someone who is just starting up or is a sole proprietor or, works in a smaller industry or has a smaller business, do you think they would benefit by becoming certified?
Definitely. Yeah. Sometimes you think it's only for manufacturing or automotive. That is not true. Because once you attend those webinars and seminars, you'll get to know other people. And sometimes they are just looking for a person who owns a business as a salon. I want to help my community rather than going to a big corporation to get my hair cut. I want to go to a minority, woman minority business to get my hair done. So it's just as long as you market yourself, it's all about helping each other within the community. So yes, the benefit is there.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jazz. I really appreciate you sharing your firsthand perspective, and I will be sure to share Jazz's contact information in case you have any questions for her. So
Yes,
thank you again.
please do. So any questions you have regarding both the certifications or any business or grants or loans, I'm always there. Please share my email address and my phone number.
Awesome. Thank you, Jazz, so much.
Thank you.
So as we close today, I want to give another huge thank you to Jackie, Veronica, Sharice, and Jazz. I also want to thank you all for spending your time with us this morning. I know this was a lot of information, but hopefully you found this call to be beneficial. Before we go our separate ways, we do have some information to share about the new grant opportunity that will be available next week. So Jill, I will hand it over to you to share some additional details.
Okay, I have put up on the screen our webpage. Starting on Tuesday next week, you will all have an opportunity to apply for the Michigan Small Business Survival Grant. This is a grant that was made possible through a state legislation action, and it's for any businesses that have been impacted by the gathering and face mask orders that were issued back in November and December. The application process will open on Tuesday morning at 9:00 a.m. and it will remain open through Friday the 22nd at noon. This is not the last round of grants that the state did was a first come, first served. This is not that way. You also will be able to, from our website, you can access the application questions so that you can pre-prepare for filling out the application. There's frequently asked questions and then press releases. Our website will take you all to the MEDC website where the actual portal will be for making the applications. But basically, this is open to any businesses that have 100 employees or less on a worldwide basis. So it can't just be a division, it's globally on November 17th, 2020. So 100 employees or less. Is in an industry that demonstrates it was affected by the orders, needs working capital to support payroll expenses, rent, mortgage payments, utility expenses, and similar types of things. So if you're preparing for reopening, you can utilize it for those expenses. You have to be able to, and on the application, you have to be able to demonstrate that there was a loss to your business. So they actually ask you for what your revenue proceeds were for October, November, December this year comparative to 2019. So they will take a look at that. If you are a live entertainment type of a venue, there is a separate pot of money that you can apply for, and that also is up on this website. And you can go there and make applications. But we wanted to bring it to your attention. The maximum amount will be $15,000. Our region, which is basically the 7 counties of Southwest Michigan, was allocated $4 million to disperse throughout the region. So about 260 some grants will be made available. So we really encourage you to consider making an application. If you have specific questions, Kelsey can help to answer those questions, or really after today, any member of our team, because we're going to do a quick tutorial in-house, but we'd be glad to answer any questions. But again, we encourage you to consider if you have been impacted by the closure or partial closures in the recent announcements. We can encourage you to apply.
Awesome. Thank you, Jill. And you all will be getting a very hefty email with all the information you need. So all the information from the presentations today, as well as more information on that grant, which includes the link to our webpage. So wrapping up today, our next small business series call will take place on Friday, February 19th, where we will discuss how establishing a realistic work-life balance will positively impact your organization, your team, and yourself. We'll look at ways of how to structure your day, managerial techniques to keep your team feeling balanced, and tools to help you become less stressed and more energetic in your work. I'll be sending out an invite to everyone later this afternoon. My contact information has been shared in the chat box, so please feel free to reach out if you have any questions about today's presentation or the grant. Thank you all again for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you on future calls, and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.